What if everything you've heard about Roth conversions was only half the story? There's a new framework from Vanguard called BETR, and it might be the most important Roth conversion idea you hear this year. Getting it wrong could cost you thousands of dollars to the IRS over your lifetime. Getting it right could unlock years of tax-free growth you didn't know was possible. Let's walk through it together, slowly and clearly. Picture two retirement accounts that work in opposite directions. A traditional IRA gives you a tax break when money goes in, but taxes every dollar when you pull it out in retirement. A Roth IRA does the reverse. You pay tax up front, then enjoy completely tax-free withdrawals later. For decades, the rule of thumb has been simple. Convert to a Roth if your tax rate will be higher in retirement. Don't convert if it'll be lower. Sounds reasonable, right? But Vanguard's research shows this old rule is often too simple. There are situations where a Roth conversion can still help you, even if your future tax rate is lower than today's. That's where BETR comes in. BETR stands for break-even tax rate. Think of it as one special number, the future tax rate at which doing a conversion and not doing one would leave you exactly even. If your expected future tax rate is higher than your BETR, the conversion likely helps you. If it's lower than your BETR, the conversion likely hurts you. Instead of guessing whether your future rate will be higher or lower than today's, you now have a personal break-even line to compare against. This changes the entire conversation. Vanguard shares a case study that brings this to life. Meet Jill. She's in the 35% tax bracket today, and she expects to drop to the 24% bracket in retirement. She's thinking about converting $100,000 from her traditional IRA to a Roth. The old rule would shout, "Don't do it! 24% is lower than 35%. But Jill does something smart. She pays the conversion tax bill using money from a separate taxable account, not from inside the IRA itself. When Vanguard runs the math over 20 years, they find Jill's break-even tax rate is about 23.3%. Her expected future rate of 24% sits just above that line. Result? The conversion actually leaves her better off, even though her future tax rate is lower than today's. That's BETR in action. Not higher or lower than today, but higher or lower than your personal break-even. Stay with me because the next three pieces are where you get real control. How you pay the conversion tax matters far more than most people realize. There are four common choices. Option 1. Pay the tax out of the IRA itself. You convert $100,000, but withhold part of it for taxes. Less money lands in the Roth. With this approach, your BETR roughly equals your current tax bracket. Option 2. Pay from a tax-efficient taxable account, like index funds with mostly deferred capital gains. More money flows into the Roth, less is wasted on taxes. Your BETR drops noticeably below your current rate. Option 3. Pay from a tax-inefficient taxable account, like bond funds throwing off taxable interest every year. Using those dollars to cover the tax often pushes BETR even lower, because you're moving money from a high tax drag pocket into a tax-free one. The big takeaway? The more tax-inefficient the dollars you use to pay the conversion tax, the more a Roth conversion tilts in your favor. This is where many retirees get stuck. They focus only on the tax rate and forget to ask, which pocket is paying the bill? The second lever is something called basis. Basis is the slice of your traditional IRA that came from after-tax contributions, money you already paid income tax on before it went in. Only the growth on that slice gets taxed later. Some people end up with basis because their income was too high to deduct contributions in certain years, so they made non-deductible contributions instead. Here's why this matters. When you convert an IRA that has basis, the pre-tax part is taxed, but the basis part converts completely tax-free. Vanguard's research shows that the higher the share of basis in your IRA, the lower your BETR drops. With 50% basis, the break-even rates fall dramatically compared to an account with zero basis. If there's any chance your traditional IRA includes after-tax money, don't guess. Form 8606 from past tax returns can help a tax professional track it down. High-income earners often hear, "You make too much to contribute directly to a Roth IRA." But there's a perfectly legal workaround called the Backdoor Roth. Here's the heart of it. Make a non-deductible contribution to a traditional IRA, then convert that contribution to a Roth before it has time to grow. Almost the entire amount converts tax-free. The catch is the pro rata rule. If you have old pre-tax IRAs hanging around, the IRS forces you to blend them when calculating taxes on the conversion. But here's the magic. If you clear out those legacy IRAs by converting them, or in some cases, rolling them into a 401k, and then start doing annual backdoor Roth contributions, Vanguard's research shows the long-term BETR for that initial conversion can drop to just a few percentage points. Once the deck is cleared, future contributions all flow into the Roth through the back door. And the original conversion looks far better than it did at first glance. You're not just doing one transaction, you're opening a door to years of tax-free growth. Now here's something Vanguard wants you to feel directly. Traditional IRAs and most 401ks force required minimum distributions starting in your early 70s. As you age, the required percentage climbs. Large RMDs can push your taxable income higher in your 70s, 80s, and 90s. Cause more of your Social Security benefits to be taxed. Bump you into higher Medicare IRMA brackets, raising your premiums. Roth IRAs, under today's rules, have no lifetime RMDs for the original owner. So the value of converting isn't just about this year's tax bill. It's about whether these conversions lower your lifetime tax burden and future surcharges. Retirement tax planning is a multi-decade problem, not a one-year decision. If you're between 55 and 75, here's a calm, practical way to put BETR to work. Step 1. Get a rough picture of your future tax rate. Not perfect, just a reasonable estimate based on your income sources, filing status, and today's brackets. Step 2. Use a BETR-style calculator, or work with a fee-only fiduciary advisor. Vanguard has a tool built specifically for this framework. Step 3. Compare your expected future rate to the BETR the analysis gives you, above or below. Step 4. Look at all three levers together. Can you pay the tax from a taxable account? Does your IRA have any after-tax basis? Would clearing things up enable backdoor Roth contributions for years to come? Step 5. Consider partial, gradual conversions. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Spreading conversions across lower income years gives you flexibility and softens the tax hit. Step 6. Always check the impact on Medicare and Social Security taxation. A big conversion in one year might temporarily push your income too high. A multi-year plan often works better. The BETR Roth conversion strategy isn't a trick. It's not a loophole. It's not a get-rich scheme. It simply says, stop looking only at today's tax rate versus tomorrow's. Find your personal break-even tax rate instead. Remember, paying the conversion tax from the right account can tilt the math in your favor. Any after-tax basis in your IRA makes conversions more attractive. Opening up future backdoor Roth contributions can turn a maybe into a long-term win. And Roth accounts can lower future RMDs, ease the tax hit on Social Security, and help you avoid higher Medicare premiums down the road. The decisions you make just before and just after retirement often feel like one-way doors. Taking the time to understand them, slowly, clearly, without pressure, is a real form of self-care. If this helped clarify something for you, share it with someone you love who's approaching retirement. And if you have a story about how taxes or Medicare premiums surprised your family, tell us in the comments. Stories like that are exactly why frameworks like BETR were created in the first place. Take care of yourself out there. See you in the next video.